Hello guys, you are welcome to Edge on the Charts, and in today's video I'll be showing you 3 simple steps to trade the XAUUSD market from next week. This is my first video on this channel and I would appreciate a subscription and a like from you if you find this video very helpful to you. So like I said, I'm going to be showing you 3 simple steps to trade the XAUUSD market starting from next week. And step 1 is to identify the trend. And step 2 is to use your trend line tool. Then step 3 is to use your 50% Fibonacci tool for precision entry. I know it might sound confusing to you, and that's why I'll be demonstrating this on the chart so you can understand what I'm talking about and you can be able to try this out in your next trade. Now, over here on my trading view charts, you can see that we are in the 15-minute time frame. And like I said, the first step is for you to identify the trend. Now, for you to be able to do that, you need to come over to the daily time frame. Now, the daily time frame will give you a detailed picture of the trend. And as you can see over here, from the daily time frame, if I zoom in, you are going to see that we have been in an uptrend over here. And right here, you can see that we are now having a downtrend over here. So from what we can see here, we can see that the trend that we are now, we are in a downtrend movement. For us to break over to an uptrend, a bullish trend, it means this candle right here need to break out of this trend line in the daily time frame. Now, if we come over to the 4-hour time frame for us to get the details of what we are talking about, you can see that we are also having the same downtrend over here, just like we saw in the daily time frame. And for us to go back to an uptrend, which is a bullish trend, we have to break out of this zone, this trend line zone. Retest it. We have to break out of the trend line zone. Let me demonstrate it for you quickly. We have to break out of the trend line zone. Then we have to retest it. Then after retesting it, then we have to continue the trend. So that is when we can say that we are in a bullish trend. That should happen within 4355.70, but we haven't seen that yet. Now, this clearly shows us that the trend we should be trading in a downtrend. Now, for us to now enter a trade, we have to now go down to the 15 minutes time frame. Now, in the 15 minutes time frame over here, you can let me delete this here so that we can understand what I'm talking about. Now, like we have established, we know that we are in a downtrend, a bearish trend, and all our entries should be a sell entry. Now, this is the 15 minutes time frame. This is the time frame I normally use to enter my trades. So in the 15 minutes time frame, all we have to do is to now get our trend line tool, and we have to also mark the trend in the 15 minutes time frame. Now, if we take a trend from here, you can see that this is a bullish trend in the 15 minutes time frame, and also you can see that we now have a bearish trend in the 15 minutes time frame as well. We have a bearish trend over here in the 15 minutes time frame. Okay, so what we are going to do now, I'm going to be showing you how to use the trend line, the Fibonacci tool, to make an entry. So we've identified that we are in a bearish trend, so we should be looking for a sell because we are in a bearish trend. But if you look at what we are experiencing now, we are experiencing a pullback to continue a bearish trend. So we are in a pullback phase. The reason I said we are in a pullback phase is because if you come back to the 4-hour time frame, you are going to see that at this point we are having a pullback to test the 4-hour trend line. It's going to break out or it's going to touch it and continue the bearish trend. So what we are seeing now is a pullback phase to touch this 4-hour trend line for a downtrend continuation or a breakout. So since we have not gotten to the trend, it means this pullback we are now experiencing a bullish movement as a result of the pullback. That is why in the 15 minutes time frame, like I explained, let me zoom in so that you can get the explanation very well. Okay, so in the 15 minutes time frame over here, this is what the whole thing is like. Okay, but let me zoom in very well. So in the 15 minutes time frame, so this is the continuation. You can see there is a bullish continuation to test the trend in the 4-hour trend line. Then it will either break out or continue. So what we are experiencing now in the 15 minutes time frame, we are experiencing a pullback to test the 4-hour trend line. So what we need to do, remember I said we are looking for a sell setup, but since we are in a pullback phase, it is wise to also look for a bullish setup because we are pulling back to test that trend line. Either we break out of it in the 4-hour time frame or we continue downtrend. That's why for us to know if we should trade on a buy, we have to now come over to the 15 minutes time frame to also mark the trend in the 15 minutes time frame. And that's why you can see that we are over here in the 15 minutes time frame. Let me delete this. Over here in the 15 minutes time frame, you can see that this is a trend in the 15 minutes time frame. And this trend over here, there is a breakout of the 15 minutes time frame trend and a retest to continue a bullish movement over here in the 15 minutes time frame. And if this should continue bullish, it means we have to do what? We have to buy. Now, how do we buy or sell? Now, for us to buy, remember the first step I said is to identify the trend, which we have done. We've identified the trend. The second step is to use the trend line. We have been able to use the trend line for the 4-hour time frame, and we are now using the trend line to also mark the trend in the 15 minutes time frame. So what we are going to do now is to trade. So what we are going to do, for example, if we are going to trade on this on Monday, so this is a breakout of the 15 minutes time frame trend. This is a breakout, and due to this breakout, we have a reversal, a pullback, then we should expect a continuation. Now, are we going to buy on Monday or are we going to sell on Monday? That should be the question. So all we have to do is to come over to the last structure of this 15 minutes. All we have to do is to come over to the last structure of this bearish trend, and that is also the beginning of the pullback trend we are seeing in the 15 minutes time frame. So all we have to do right here is to get our trend line tool as well to mark the trend. So as you can see, this is the mini trend in the 15 minutes time frame. Let me take this out and put this over here. So this is the bullish mini trend of the pullback in the 15 minutes time frame. So all we have to do now is to get our Fibonacci retracement tool, and we pull it down to this last structure over here. Now this, after doing this, all you have to do is to get a precision tool to mark the 50%. Okay, let's also use a trend line tool to mark the 50% precision entry of the Fibonacci entry. Now without all doubt, this is a good point to buy. So all we have to do is to buy on Monday from this zone. So all I have to do is to buy. We are going to buy to 200 pips. We are going to buy to 200 pips on Monday. So let me take out this Fibonacci so that it will be clearer. We are going to buy on Monday, and so if we are going to buy, it means we should expect a pullback on Monday, and we should hit a TP on Monday. So this is 1:2, 200 pips, then 100 pips, SL, 1:2. So remember I said we are in a pullback phase to test the 4-hour trend line. Then it will either reverse back and continue. It will either continue the bearish trend, or it will break out of that 4-hour trend line and test it, then continue bullish. So because the reason we are entering a buy is because the trend is a pullback trend. It's a pullback trend. That's why we are buying at this point. So as you can see, this is a pullback to test the 4-hour trend line and continue, or break out of it, test it and continue. So this is the simple strategy. If we go back to the 15 minutes time frame, if you want to back test it, it's still very easy for you to back test and confirm what I just explained. Okay, for example, let's take a look at this trend in the 15 minutes time frame. Let's take a look at this trend. This is a bullish trend in the 15 minutes time frame. Let's test the strategy with this. So as you can see, if we want to buy over here, all we have to do is to mark the trend. Like this. Now if you take a look at this pullback, this is a mini pullback. So we started the trend from this last structure. There's a mini pullback. That mini pullback gave us the trend line continuation, a mini pullback and a continuation. So you must mark the mini pullback to this point. Now if you look at this place, all you have to do is to take your Fibonacci retracement tool, then mark from the last breakout of this trend line. You mark it over here to this last position over here. Now if you take your tool here to mark the 15% tool over here, you can see that it almost got to an entry of this 50% zone. So all you have to do is to either if you can wait for it. So as you can see, that's the 50% Fibonacci precision entry. You can see it got very close to the 50% Fibonacci entry, then it continued For some people, they put their entry in between the 50% and the 0.61% of the Fibonacci entry. But me, I like using the 50%, but some people, at times I still use in between. So if you use in between at this point, you have a sniper entry at this point. If you can see, if you go for long here and you place your buy limit over here, you can see that you have, and you use a 200. Sorry, let me take this out. You use it, you target a 200 to 100 1:2, target to 200 to 100 pips. You can see over here that you have a sniper entry that would have given you 200 pips entry over here. Now, if we should continue, all we have to do after doing this, all you have to do is to get your trend line again and also continue over here. This is the first pullback after this entry, and you can see this is the second pullback as well. You target it and this is it. You leave it because this is the point of the breakout. So you take your 50% Fibonacci 2, you place it over here, then you drag it over here again. So if you drag it over here and take your entry at this 50%, you can see the pullback did not get to this point. If you put it at the middle, it still not get to this point. So you just relax for that day. You missed the entry for that day. So that's how you do it, and you also do it for this one as well. You can also do it for this day as well. If you take it over here, you mark it over here, and this is it right here. This is the point of the breakout. You take your 50% Fibonacci 2, you drag it down over here, then you target an entry of 50%. You see you have another sniper entry over here giving you a good 200 to 100 pips again. We have another sniper entry over here. If we should go down and continue the strategy, okay, let's take it from here. Let's try it from here again. So let me just take a trend line to this is the pullback. Yes, this is the pullback, and this is the point of the breakout. So you take your 50% Fibonacci 2, again you mark it to this point right here, and you take your 50% entry over here. Then if we go for a buy at this point and we target 100 to 200 pips over here, you can see that the pullback was very almost close to our SL over here, but it did not hit it, but it went back immediately. And as you can see, that is a profit over there. So this is just a simple strategy, as you can see. So if we also do the same for the trend, the bearish trend that we are seeing over here, we should come to, okay, let's just say this is the point of breakout over here. All we have to do is to take our 50% Fibonacci. We take it from this end to, let's say, to this end over here, and that should give us a test. So it means that if price gets to this position over here, if price should continue, if it gets to this position of 4094 over here, there will be a continuation of a bearish trend to this pullback trend line of the 4 hour. Remember, we're in a pullback phase. In the 4 hour trend line, it might get to here, then continue, then it will not continue. it will continue the bullish trend to go and test the 4-hour trend line. Then it's either it will break it, retest and continue, or it will touch it, then continue the bearish trend. So this is simple trading strategy if you understand it. If you don't understand it, I'll be creating a Telegram channel. It's also a new Telegram channel. The link will be in the description and the comment section of this video. You can click on it and message me on Telegram. I can also explain to you. So this is a strategy. Thank you for watching, and if this has been helpful, please subscribe to this YouTube channel and like this video so that other beginners like us can find this strategy and use it, test it out, try it out for themselves. Thank you, and see you in my next video.